Hey there, it's me again, Daryl, from the Jackson Fishing Team, and today we're going to be tying a wet fly called the Coachman, and this fly was tied by Tom Bosworth, I think that's how you pronounce it, back in the 1830s, so it's quite an old fly, and Bosworth here was a coachman for George IV and William IV and Queen Victoria, you know, for the royal family of England. And on there, so it's you know, Bosworth was a great fly dresser, as they call him, fly tyer. He was a superb angler. You know, he's was pretty good. You know, now there's various types of coachmans out there. There's the Royal Coachman, the lead wing coachman, the fan wing Royal Coachman, you know, other types of coachman flies. But this fly here, you know, we're gonna tie it up on a size 10. You can tie it anywhere from a size 6 to 16. But we'll explain the materials as we go along, and hopefully you'll give this one a try. And it's my last one that I'll be doing a video on for the New Hampshire trip. But we'll go more into that later. All right, let's get it. The Coachman. It's a winged dry fly, and it's going to be another one of these challenging ones for me. I don't tie a lot of these all the time, but hey, I'm not afraid to do it. You know, it incorporates the tag and Peacock Herl. We've tied with that before, and a brown Hackle for like the beard area, but we'll tie it in a traditional Hackle format on here in black thread. So why don't we go ahead and get started on there, and maybe show you some little tricks along the way. In there, let me put this guy in the fly box. And we're going to use a number 10, 3906, I believe it's a Mustad. And we'll debarb the hook. On there. That a little bit. I guess I didn't have to. I thought I had it in the vise. Now I got it in the vise. I'll adjust it. Move it up a little bit. All right. You can probably tie this on a 6 or an 8-aught. I'm going with a 10-aught thread, black. We're going to start this roughly an eye width behind the eye. And of course, you know, that's always as far forward as we want to go when we're tying, where the thread starts or stops. And we'll take this thing back to, that didn't work so well this time, but that's okay. That's what scissors are for. Take this back to near the barb of the hook. In between there. The next material we're going to put on is I'm going to use some medium gold silver tinsel, because that's what I have. You might get by probably better with small, whatever, and we're going to tie this with the silver side out because we want a gold tag. And the tag is just a little flashy part. You could probably tie this without it, but or you could use wire, I suppose, as well. And we're going to tie that like right on the top try to make sure that we're keeping our thread body almost pretty even. And then I'm going to give it 3 forward wraps like that, just so I can tie that in. I'm not going to take many wraps with this because this is kind of big, as you can see. Maybe 2 full wraps and then back again, just to give that hook a little flash. And then we'll take those 3 wraps off, and that worked out pretty darn good right there. Give it some wraps, and then we'll wrap it over it. And we'll cut off the excess. And I still have some little bit there for some more flies on there. And I'm going to move the thread forward, and then we're going to tie in some gold ribbing in small. Some gold in small. And this is to help protect the body that we're putting in there. You probably really won't see it that well. And I'm going to tie this on the underside of the hook. Sorry about that. Next we're going to do our peacock body. I'm going to use some peacock Herl. I'm going to grab 3 or 4. It doesn't really matter, whatever it is, so I can get a thick body. And I'm going to cut off the brittle ends. And we're going to tie this on the top of the hook. Right back to where that gold tag starts, right there, or that on there. And I'm going to go about halfway, and that'll help if my peacock Herl starts spreading, it'll catch up to the thread and kind of keep it together, force it together. See right there, you're seeing it spread a little bit. I guess I didn't do a very good job here, but the body's still looking pretty good. Now I'm against that thread, and the weight of that bobbin and that thread is going to keep those fibers together. And we still have quite a bit there. I'm going to say this is about it because the wing's going to take quite a bit of surface. What's going on there? Somehow my wire wrapped around that thread. Lock that in. snip that off. Then we're going to counter wrap. Oh, damn. I got to redo that. See, it always doesn't go perfect. My wire snapped off my... But what the heck. Had that happen earlier on the fly. Alright, we'll start that again. The comic relief. Alright. And we'll counter wrap, 4 or 5 wraps, trying to make them evenly spaced. Traditionally, that's what a lot of flies are tied with when it comes to the ribbing, is 4 to 5. That's number 4. And then I'm just going to give it number 5 right where my thread is and give it an extra turn. Because sometimes it gets a little tricky with that counter wrap and tying in your thread. And then we'll helicopter that off. And then I'm going to select some brown hackle. But this is like dry, but I'm going to look for probably something back here like these softer hackles is what I'm going to use in there for the hackle on there. Trim off some of the ends, and I'm going to trim off a little bit from the far side, and that'll help prevent an ugly looking hackle, prevent some of the fibers from going backwards. Oh, comedy of errors again. One turn to lock that in. Come over here and bend this up a little bit so I can get in here to cut that. Kind of stroke these down, and I'm just going to give it another comedy of errors. Boy, this fly is getting to be a challenge for me. try this again. We're only going to give it 2 or 3 wraps. That's 2. It's not a dry fly. And then we'll tie that off. Pull these back. Now I'm going to kind of fold these down a little bit. Next we're going to do is we're going to make the white wing out of, you should use some white duck, but all I got is some white goose, and it's in a right and left. And what I'm going to do is, it's usually, you know, sometimes about a hook gap to measure. So what I'll do is I'll take a similar hook, put it down, and trim it off. And then you'll see the concave. The concave, we're going to put concave to concave. The duck would be better. It's a smaller quill, smaller wing, but I don't have any. So I'm using what I got. And then I'm going to try to get rid of that to make it about the same size. Get rid of some more. And then normally with a wet, you're going to want the curvature. You see that curvature? You're going to want that going down. If it was a dry fly, you'd want it coming up. So we're going to make this about roughly the hook gap. And then kind of pinch that, and then let the weight of the bodkin pull that down. And don't pull up to tighten. Don't pull down to tighten. And we're going to make sure that that feather is pretty much in the center. I'm kind of happy with that. Pulling up, making sure that's nice and tight. Still pretty good right there. I'm happy with that. And then we'll trim off the excess, and we're going to try to trim this off nice and tight. And we'll build up a head. It's a dry fly, or a wet fly, I'm sorry. So, you know, head can be big. And we'll whip finish. And I'll give it one more. Looking like a good looking fly there. A little head cement. And let that soak in. And if you think you got something in your eye, just take a old feather out of your trash bin right there. Poke that through. Clean out that eye. And there you have it. The Coachman. Alright, the Coachman. There's many different types like we talked about. Give it a try. The next series of flies, I'm going to tie up a few for the Rangeley area of Maine. I'm probably going to be more streamers. I'd like to, like I said earlier in some of my other videos, that I really need to learn maybe how to streamer fish for trout. Give that a try instead of doing nymphs and dries. But anyway, we'll tie up a few flies in the next couple of weeks for the Rangeley area. Again, mostly probably going to be some streamers. Promise you won't be any Terry Stevens stuff. I might try some different patterns, something simple that doesn't take too much time on the thing. And I apologize for the long issue that I had with that Peacock Herl. But anyway, we'll see you on the water. Give it a try.